Hey everyone, Karen here, and I have Summer. Summer participated at a Veg Speed event in Sacramento, and I wanted her to share her story with all of you so that you could hear it from a different perspective other than just from mine. Because I know that I'm always saying it's not scary, it's really not intimidating, and this and this and that, but you're probably thinking she's just saying that. So, my goal is to feature people like Summer who have participated at the events and had a really great experience. And I wanted you to hear her story. So, Summer, you went to the Veg Speedy event in Sacramento. And can you
Yes.
please just tell me a bit about, and we talked beforehand, you said that you had seen speed dating in movies before, it was on your bucket list, and it was always something that you wanted to try, and you found out about it on Facebook. And I'm always curious to know where all of you are finding out about my events because I work my butt off to reach as many of you as I can. So please let me know how you find out about my events, everyone. So Summer, so it was your first time doing this. And what was your experience when you walked into this? I know that you said that you didn't have any expectations going into this other than just having a good time. So tell me more about that.
Okay, so when sorry, I was getting a phone call and I kept trying to
Oh, no
stop it,
worries.
so I don't know if
That's
I
okay.
don't know if it looked crazy. Hopefully you can
No,
stop and
you're
start over.
good.
Okay, okay. So when I heard about the vegan speed dating or the veg speed dating, I actually saw it on Facebook in a Facebook group. It was a vegan Bay Area Facebook group. And that was definitely something that caught my eye because I've been wanting to try speed dating. Is something I wanted to check off my bucket list, like I was saying. And the fact that it was veg is already something that I have in common with someone. So that was definitely intriguing. And I signed up right away. And I told a couple of my friends about it. But to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of veg or vegans in my circle. So I was kind of excited about just meeting other people that have something in common with me as well. But it was really exciting, and I definitely had a great time, and I would recommend it for people to try it out because it's a cool life experience. Even if you don't meet somebody, you have to go into it with the attitude that it's something that you're trying for the first time, something that might be a cool story to tell later on down the road. And if you meet somebody, great. If you don't, then it's still just a bucket list, something that's really fun and like I said, like it's a great experience.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Your whole mindset going into the event really, really is going to dramatically impact the outcome of how you experience it and how open you are. That's what I always try to tell people is to just keep an open mind. Don't go in there thinking that you're going to meet someone that you're going to marry because, it does happen. No lie. The very first event I ever did was in Berkeley, and a couple did meet there and they did end up getting married years later. But that's not
Wow.
every time. I wish it did, but it's not. However, you never know what is going to happen unless you put yourself out there, unless you try these experiences, right? And there's really no other opportunity to be in a room full of single vegetarians and vegans all looking for that special someone. You will not get that anywhere else. Sure, there's like a bunch of social, events for vegans and vegetarians, but the people there aren't necessarily going to be single, right? They might be there like with their husband or spouse or whatever. So it's I put in so much work into these events and also work really, really hard on getting equal numbers of men and women, which is challenging, but I do the best that I can. And and Summer, and you talked about also the 5 minutes. So some people think that 5 minutes seems long, right? But it goes fast. Like what was your experience with that?
So the 5 minutes was a little bit nerve wracking going into it because I felt the pressure of having to come up with the right questions and making sure that I get them answered in a timely manner. So I wrote this list down before I went. And I had this structured idea of how it was going to be. When I got there, I realized it was not like that at all. It was definitely more relaxed. And as soon as you sat in front of the person, it was more about the chemistry and conversation with that person naturally. So it was more like you're just sitting across from a friend and having a casual conversation. And each conversation with each person was different. So it wasn't like the same questions. And I felt that that was cool to customize the conversation just naturally. It made for more of a relaxed environment. But I can see how some people would say the 5 minutes isn't enough, especially if you click with somebody.
Yes.
But if you're going into it just to see like what's first impression, you don't need more than 5 minutes for first impression. And so I think that that's enough time to get a first impression. And then after that, that's the point of matching. And then you can, meet again to see if you really click with that person. But I mean, to be able to meet with that many people in that time frame, I think the 5 minutes is good. And it makes it exciting too, because it gives you a little bit of an adrenaline rush knowing that you only have so much time with that person.
Right. And I'm so glad that you said exactly what I tell everyone, that 5 minutes is really only to explore if you have a connection with that person that you want to explore further. It's not to find out everything about that person. And a lot of people overthink the process. And there is the option, right, on your match forum for friendship or dating. So really, if you're just interested in someone as a friend, you should check off friend. But if you're at all interested in something more than that, check off dating. But so there are those two options. But really, and that's what I tell everyone, is don't overthink it. It's 5 minutes. Just find out, do you want to see this person again? Is this someone that you would want to go on a date with, and have a longer conversation with them? Not, do I want to marry this person? Do I see myself with this person forever? So it's not about that. So I'm really, really glad that you mentioned that. And it's funny that you said that you went in there with a list. And I think that's awesome, because you did want to kind of try to prepare yourself. But yeah, sometimes like our plans kind of go out the window. And I actually, at the event, did you have the conversation starter postcards?
I did have that at the event, and honestly, I didn't even end up using them, because it was one of those things to where right when you sit in front of the person, it's like, okay, what do we talk about? And then you ask simple questions, and then conversation flows based off of like the first question or two. So you don't really have time to go through this list because you're already just flowing in conversation.
Right. But these are helpful for those people who might get nervous and not know what to say. So that's why I have them, right? And you also mentioned that every conversation was different. And I highly encourage people to try to change up the conversation so that it doesn't seem like an interview, doesn't seem like you're just talking about the same thing, right? And of course, again, 5 minutes goes by super, super fast, especially if you're clicking with that person. But if you don't click with that person, 5 minutes can seem a bit longer. So that's why I stick to the 5 minutes. I think it's a perfect amount of time, so that, it's not too much, not too little. And can you tell me a bit about what you thought about the matching process, like about how it works, about submitting your match form? Did you use your phone during the event, or did you just submit your match form after?
So what I did during the event is I had the sheet that had the lines where you can put everybody's name, and then you can check it off on the sheet. And that made it so much easier for me, because I'm really bad with names. And I was so afraid that I was going to, leave and then forget whose name was whose. So having that to be able to write on during the time of the event was super helpful. And then that evening I did use the match form online from my phone. So I did that, and I found that I like the system of it. I found it really easy to use. I found it helpful. I love the idea that you have just friends on there, so it's like a safe option. Just in case, in case you're unsure and you still filling out the situation. So I did like that part of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and so that optional paper match form is something that I emailed to everybody. And at the events, I do have a couple of sheets. I try to be as eco-friendly as possible, so I don't print a copy out for everyone. And I do encourage people to take notes either on their phone or on a piece of paper. So it's good to know, you know, there is that option. And so you said that you didn't connect with anyone, you know, on like a dating level, and that happens, right? But some people take it personally, right? And they kind of get upset.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you have to keep trying, right? It's not necessarily going to happen the first time. And what I tell people is when they're saying, oh, like when they're asking me if they should try another event, I say, yes, for sure. You should totally try another event, because you'll have a better idea of what to expect, right? And you'll go in there more confident and with a better understanding, and you're going to have had a bit of practice. So it sounds like you would definitely try the event again, right?
Yeah, I would definitely try the event again. And I think that what you said about having practice, I think that that's really good, because when you go into for the first time, you don't know what to expect. And so I think it's kind of a learning experience. And the next time you go into it, you're more prepared. You might even know what you want more in a partner.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, I think that too, your mindset has a lot to do with it. You have to go into it not dwelling on the idea that you might meet the love of your life. You have to go into it, like I was saying earlier, with it just being an amazing experience and something to check off your bucket list, and everything else is a perk. So if you go into it with that experience, I don't think that there's room for disappointment. Like, I didn't match with anybody romantically, and I was okay with that. You know, I didn't get butthurt about it. It was something that I felt, you know, could have happened, and it did, and it was fine. It was still a fun experience, and I would do it again.
Right. And I wish everyone had the same attitude as you, because it's, you know, I totally, you know, get what you're saying. And make any friends in the process?
You know what? Actually, I really clicked with the girls that were there.
Right? And that
Yeah.
like
So,
almost every
you know, I walked in and, you know, I saw the guys there and I was like, okay, so these are the options, you know, I'm like kind of checking them out. And then I saw the girls, and me and the girls just clicked. So we were all talking with each other and, you know, saying, oh, is this your first time, and sharing our experiences. And so I would honestly say I connected more on a friend level with the girls than I did with the guys. And I know it's going to be a different group every time, so it may not always be like that, but it still was a cool networking event to just make connections and meet people. And so now you know, I have a couple female friends or people that I've met from there. And, you know, I have the experience of the conversation with the guys, and I've learned how it will be next time. So
yeah, and I think that's amazing. And it happens with the men as well. I have seen men totally click and exchange contact information. And I think that's amazing. And in my hometown, I host the events myself, and I see what happens. And oftentimes, I've witnessed the people, like more than half the group, going out for dinner afterwards together, which I think is
cool.
amazing. Like it's so awesome to be able to witness that and see it happen, right? So yeah, I mean, if you don't, you know, like if you don't end up meeting someone on a romantic level, hey, like you still made new friends, that you still got out there, you still made new connection, and you're also a business owner. You run your own business, and you know, it's a great opportunity to network for that as well.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you have any words of wisdom for anyone who's thinking about attending, but is maybe not sure if it's for them, or if it's worth the money, if it's worth their time?
I say life is too short, and try things you haven't tried before. Definitely try it. If you don't like it, you don't ever have to do it again. If you have fun, then you just paid a small, which I don't think it's very expensive, but you paid a small fee for this experience. Think about other experiences that you pay for. You know, it's the same type of concept. With this, it's just you're, you know, meeting people that might be like-minded, depending on the way that you eat and your lifestyle is. And also you might be making connections, you might be making friends, you might network and meet connections for business, you know. So there's lots of potential, and I definitely say just try it out. You know, let your guard down and don't let your insecurities hold you back, because a lot of other people are going to be feeling the same way. So you're not alone in feeling unsure. Other people are going to be feeling unsure, and I think that you know, you just got to do it. You just got to put yourself out there, and you never know unless you do that. That's the thing. If you hold yourself back from opportunities, then you're going to be right where you're at in the same spot. So it's really important to take those leaps sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I really think that when people hear your story and your words of encouragement, that they will realize that, you know, it is something worth doing, and that you should, you know, just try it and see for yourself. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least you got out of your house, you went and met new
Right.
people. And it's the same thing with me, you know, like, you know, I basically just work and go to the gym, and then I go to these events. I'm like, you know, actually out meeting people. It's like I don't do that very often. So
Yeah.
I still enjoy it as well, and really see it as a fun experience. So thank you so much. And for all the men watching, Summer is in Sacramento, and she will probably be going to the next event. So if you want to meet her. All right. Thank you so much, Summer.